Hey guys, Pixel Peanut back with you. What have you been collecting lately? Is it Dreamcast? TurboGrafx? Maybe GameCube? Recently, I've been adding to my NES library. So for this episode of Pixel Procurement, I'll show you some of my recent NES pickups. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to go over some of my NES pickups. To start, I just picked up a copy of Final Fantasy, a fan favorite for the NES and the beginning of a huge franchise we all know and love today. There isn't much to say about this game that hasn't already been said by others. For me, I'm replacing a copy I traded away so that I could get my Super Nintendo. This game and the Dragon Warrior series are the two games that got me hooked on the RPG genre. I'm very happy to have picked it up again. And who can forget the wonderful victory music? Do you remember Domino's pizza campaign involving their self-proclaimed mascot, the Noid?
If you've ever gotten cold pizza, a squash pizza, or pizza that just wasn't right, the Noid did it. But at Domino's Pizza, we avoid the Noid. So when you want hot, delicious quality pizza delivered in less than 30 minutes, Domino's Pizza delivers. One call does it all.
As you can see, the Noid is the physical manifestation of the challenges of pizza delivery being completed in under 30 minutes. Portrayed as the antagonist, he's representing Domino's competitors and a challenge to be defeated. So when looking at the NES game Yo! Noid, I find it interesting that the Noid turned from villain to hero. The plot is simple. New York is plagued with creatures controlled by Mr. Green, who wears the green version of the Noid's jumpsuit. The Noid is armed with his trusty yo-yo and is assigned to save New York from peril. The platforming is great, as to be expected from a Capcom title of this era. However, it's interrupted by these sections of what I would call war. Much like the card game we played as kids, the biggest number wins. This is fun for the few first cards, but becomes a bit cumbersome and lengthy to win. When I'd much rather just get back to platforming stages, ultimately, this section only adds to your point total. Here's an interesting game. Based upon the cover art, I picked up Cybernoid, the Fighting Machine. This game is incredibly difficult right out of the gate. A sort of maze runner shoot 'em up, you find yourself fighting against a gravity system that continuously pulls your ship downward, in this case, into a bunch of enemy ships. This game has interesting level design. Taking elements of what you'd normally see in a platformer, you get this interesting side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. You still go around getting your power-ups, moving from edge of screen to edge of screen to try to get through the labyrinth of the level. This game will take a good 20 to 30 minutes of playing through the first couple levels to really understand and have a feel for the gravity system and how this side-scrolling shooter differs from all the ones you've played in the past. It'll test your skills of dexterity, but don't discount this game. It's an excellent, fun game and change of pace than what most people are used to. This brings us to Bases Loaded. I obtained this for $1 due to writing on the label, but cleaned it up and now I've added it to my collection. There's not much to be said here. It's Bases Loaded. Didn't everyone have a copy in their library growing up? And if not, you might as well now. It was cheap then, it's cheap now, and everyone remembers playing this game. Mag Max is another title I picked up based upon its cover art. To me, I think this looks like a Daft Punk concert come to life. I joked with my shopkeep, ended up purchasing it, and I wanted to see what it was all about. At first I thought this was just another run-of-the-mill, side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. That was until I found out that the vehicle upgrades not only upgrade your firepower, but upgrade the size of your vehicle with different attributes. As you progress further, you'll obtain upgrades that give you legs. You'll walk around like a mech, or much like a Megazord from Power Rangers. There's an overworld and an underworld. Your weapons will sort of act differently in different areas as you progress through the stage. It's a fun and interesting title, a unique one for sure, and it lives up to its cover art and a happy addition to the library. I've had my eyes out for this one, Silkworm. Yet again, another side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, but something with some unique features to separate it from the rest of the pack. Silkworm holds true to its cover art, offering two different vehicles. You can either be a helicopter shooting from the air downward, or be a Jeep shooting from the ground upward. It's interesting that the Jeep can do ollies, much like a skateboard can. However, it adds to the uniqueness and the challenge of this game. Definitely a fun game, so check it out. Rounding down my pickup list is Q*bert, an arcade classic, something I grew up with. I played it a lot in the arcades, and to this day, it continues to be re-released on plug-and-play consoles, so I had to pick up a copy for my NES library. My last pickup is Journey to Silas. I got this for about 30% less than market value due to a large sticker over the label, but I cleaned it up. I learned about Journey to Silas from a friend through a forum where we discussed different NES titles. I was informed that this was supposed to be a Terminator title. As you can see, it's sort of set in a post-apocalyptic setting and makes a lot of sense, but never got the branding. Nevertheless, Journey to Silas does not disappoint. This is everything an action platformer game should be. You end up having weapon upgrades, you have really awesome and tight controls, and an amazing soundtrack, which we're listening to now. If you have an opportunity to pick this up, I highly recommend it. Thank you everybody for your viewership. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can see new episodes where I pick up more NES titles and games for other consoles. I'm always on the hunt. So guys, that concludes this episode of Pixel Procurement. But I'd like to know, what are you guys collecting? Are you guys picking up interesting titles like Cybernoid the Fighting Machine? Maybe childhood favorites like Q*bert? Either way, leave a comment down below of what you've been collecting. Be sure to hit like and subscribe for new episodes. And until next time, keep on smashing buttons, knocking elbows, and keep on gaming on.